Joseph? Hey. Oh, right, he's at PPG. Time for Cameraman Unchained!
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. Today we're testing Evil Eye Unchained. But I'd like to remind any of you watching on release day that tomorrow, December 15th, I will be arising from a SEMO-induced slumber to commentate the Pro Play Games Vegas tour stop. If you're in the area, feel free to stop by, say hi, and play a couple of rounds of Orcust Raid Boss format. If you're not, never fear, we'll be on twitch.tv/ppgygo starting at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, let me grace your eyeballs, with something you've got a 0% chance of seeing tomorrow. Presenting Unchained Evil Eye. So here's the list, and yes, I'm playing Extravagance, it's defensible here. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetypes, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck, a company I'm proud to represent. If you don't want to scrape together this many secret rares, you can use their card database to search these shiny boys, their deck builder to gain feedback from the most intelligent community this side of Reddit, or consult their strategy articles once you've given up. Now let's get back to what's really important, finding a way to justify the deck build packs. Evil Eye and Unchained are two archetypes that on release seemed promising, but like many of us have failed to live up to their potential. Anyway, Evil Eye's been out since March, first appearing in Infinity Chasers, a set more well known for its smugger citizens. Unchained debuted in Chaos Impact, alongside a couple of new Evil Eye cards we'll be making use of. Evil Eye is a corneal control suite which makes use of its life points to boost a single invulnerable ingrate with a quick effect to destroy special summoned monsters. Unchained is an archetype that floats off destruction into abominations that let you violate the laws of links. On the surface, there's no synergy between these two decks, but if you look a little bit deeper, you'll find a plethora of reasons to pair the two. Unchained floodgates you into Fiends, Evil Eye's downside destroys individual cards you control, and popping Pareidolia is almost always a plus. Our list attempts to join these two unlikely allies in marital bliss by maxing out on the Unchained half of the deck and keeping our ocular engines svelte. We thankfully can cut one of the puppers who previously represented the game's biggest garnet and replace it with the abominable Unchained Soul, an eye-gas release that will quell the rage I feel when I see two souls in my opening hand. Since all of the Unchained cards only have one relevant effect, the float, we're trying to play as many different names as possible to account for corner cases. Finally, because the deck isn't big on the extra, we're on my old pal Extravagance. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, the eyes. Oh god, the eyes! We're on 3 copies of Sirs and 1 Basilius for occasions where we draw too many monster searchers. For Unchained, we've got triple Aruka and triple Rika, followed by 1 Abominable and 1 Doggo, which we're still going to find a way to draw. For spells, we're on 3 Pareidolia and 1 Terraforming, double Selene and a Gorgon, Wailing, Prison, double Cyclone as a synergistic MST, triple Called, and of course 3 Extravagance. For traps, we're on triple Impermanence, 3 Chamber, 2 Escape, and a Retribution. Finally, in the extra, we're on an Extravagance board of Abomination, Anguish, Rage, Unicorn, and Gorgon. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Generaider. Dang, can't believe I gotta play the CEO of gender this early. If I win, I'm abolishing women. Our opener is okay, I suppose. It's got a particularly spicy play that I hope you'll appreciate, but also contains both Unchained Souls. Always. We're going to lead with a copy of Domain. That's going to add, of course, a Serziel to hand. We will then activate the effect of Aura, and then the hand effect of Abominable, using its on-field effect to destroy Aura for Rika, so we can normal summon a copy of Serziel and dodge the infinite impermanence by activating Rika's quick effect. That allows us to search a Domain and try again next turn, ending on a Rage and passing it back. Our opponent draws a Lone Fire for turn. I don't think they're likely to summon it. They'll lead with a Pot of Extravagance and set the stage. Oh boy. So we draw a copy of Serziel for turn, they go into an Utgard. Wow, this is going to push this deck into playability when it comes out. And unfortunately, because it's my turn, I can't activate the effect of Rage. We're going to normal summon a copy of Sares. They're going to banish the Sares in response. Good idea. But we still get this copy of Selene. We'll go to battle phase, walk over one of these tokens, and pass it back to our opponent. We have some plays. They draw a copy of Territory. They'll normal summon a Lonefire Blossom, which allows us to target this copy of Boss of Lies. But unfortunately, they chain a copy of World Legacy's Monstrosity in response. This means they will unfortunately not only be able to get Mardell from deck, but also go into True King of all Calamities. It's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. They'll quest before doing so and attack over my copy of Anguish. Anguish's effect will trigger, adding the Arura back to hand, but we're taking a lot of damage in the process. Now, while our monster's effect isn't going to resolve, we don't actually need to search anything with Serziel. I know that Generaider has a bit of a problem dealing with indestructible monsters that can't be targeted by swords, so that's going to be our win condition this game. We'll activate Aura's effect. They'll flip Summon Limit, which gives us the Aura, but unfortunately prevents us from using the Grave effect of Chamber. They draw a copy of There Can Be Only One. They'll move their monsters to attack position, and one of the massive benefits of Selene is the monster that it's equipped with can't be destroyed by battle. We're going to activate Serziel's effect at end step to get rid of this True King of all Calamities and pop off on our next turn. Our opponent will go for Ayla. They're going to use Ayla to get back Utgard, but unfortunately for them, they're under Summon Limit, and the Generaider stage proc is going to lock them out of Ayla's effect. We're going to activate Serziel to get rid of Nidhogg. Now it is large enough to attack over Ayla, and I think they don't have any answers left. The only possible way they can win is by getting one of the 2 remaining cards in their deck from their deck and then overlaying for an Enter Blanier. But this Pot of Extravagance in their main phase ensures that the 2 remaining cards aren't enough for them to do it. So this is how most of your games are going to play out. You'll navigate the early game on the back of Rage, only to transition to a late game powered by Serziel, heir to the true Draco-slaying fortune. Our opponent for Game 2 is on Striker, and I know what you're thinking. Why isn't this Game 3? Well, you'll see. Our hand's fine, but notably contains the dog. Always. We'll activate Terraforming and then Domain in order to get a copy of Serziel. We'll activate the Shackles of Squaw. God, I missed that card. Before activating the Grave Effect of Escape and Link Summoning a Rage. We'll normal summon a copy of Serziel, then equip an Evil Eye of Selene, set an Infinite Impermanence, and hope for the best. Our opponent has a little old card in their hand called Mystic Mine. They'll go into a high-rarity and poke us for 15, sending a copy of Rose to the graveyard, so they're up to something. For turn, we draw another Domain. I guess we'll go ahead and Link Summon Rage, and then Mystic Mine will be destroyed in the end phase. Thank goodness Rage is generic, or else this wouldn't be available. They'll high-rarity for a copy of Engage, and yeah, we're gonna have to play against Sky Striker. They'll activate Engage for a, multi-roll in a particularly problematic zone. Afterwards, they will activate the effect of Area 0 and then Cosmic Cyclone my set card. Unfortunately for you, it is something that will turn off that zone. They're going to then activate the effect of Shark Cannon before going into Shizuku, taking my Rage in response to its activation, and Link Summoning Ningirsu, getting rid of my Domain. That's not very strong, and the negated multi-roll means that we are way up on card advantage. We'll activate Extravagance in the main phase, what a rip, before activating Domain, normal summoning a copy of Serziel, fetching a copy of Retribution, and resetting this copy of Selene. The only way we lose this game is by running out of life points, but I've never been known to play safe, so I might as well not start now. We'll attack over this copy of Ningirsu and pass it back to our opponent, who draws for turn. Oh, what an incredible comeback card. We're going to activate Chamber to bring back Unchained Soul. When it's special summoned, of course, we'll be able to destroy the multi-roll, and I'm feeling pretty good about things. Our opponent activates Scissor Cross, so I Retribution it, and they fire a copy of Card of Demise after Resolution. I don't think I had another option, but I still feel bad about it. They're going to try and destroy their terraforming. Why couldn't that have worked? Unfortunately, they don't. They'll activate it, and we're back in Mystic Mine land. Ooh, a Galaxy Cyclone will pop the set card, and next turn we can pop the Mystic Mine, which is probably enough. They'll activate Afterburners, but that really doesn't resolve the problem. For turn, we draw another copy of Galaxy Cyclone, keep that in our back pocket. We'll destroy this copy of Mystic Mine and reset Selene. Oh, I am putting myself dead to high-rarity 10 times out of 10. We'll attack directly for 5100 and dare them to out our board. They do. They're on 3 Mystic Mine, so enjoy that. Thankfully, because our field spell is set, we now have a target for Galaxy Cyclone. They'll go into Ray, we'll go to battle phase, they'll go into Kana. Whoa, you weren't supposed to summon Ray there! Kana can't target our untargetable monster, and we walk away with it! So, it's time for Game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. My opponent's on Sky Striker Orcust, but I'm feeling pretty confident, having walloped 2 off-meta decks previously. Although I've drawn the soul for the 3rd time in a row. Can't keep this dog away, can I? Well, they're going to activate Engage and then activate a copy of Hornet Drones. That Hornet Drones, of course, is going to become a Kagari, and the Kagari is going to add back the Engage. They'll activate Orchestrated Return and Allure of Darkness before firing Engage number 1 and Engage number 2. Why is this legal? They're going to normal summon a copy of Mathematician, sending a copy of Harpor. They'll go into Nightmare and then Galate. They'll activate Nightmare's effect to send a copy of Gizmek. They're going to use the Wand to bring back this copy of Symbol Skeleton to set a copy of Babel off of Galate's effect. They'll go into Longirsu, and when you see Longirsu, you know that you are in for it. They're going to activate Longirsu's effect for no resolution before going into Dingirsu and link summoning an IP Masquerena. They'll upstart Goblin, set a card, and pass it back to us. I don't like how this has turned out. We'll lead with a copy of Pot of Extravagance. That's a sick rip off the top before activating Domain, normal summoning a copy of Serziel, and eating an Infip. That's okay, we have a couple of Evil Eyes. They're going to activate the effect of Galate, which means we're going to have to contend with Negation next turn. We'll try to go to Battle Phase, they'll activate Unicorn, and... oh. That's actually the end of our turn. At end step, they're going to activate Dingirsu, destroy our copy of Escape, and I think we actually lose here. They're going to activate Mathematician's effect, activate the effect of Harpor, go into another Galate, activate the effect of Orcust Nightmare. Remember, they have a Gizmek in there, and I think this is just about it. They're going to set an Orcust Return, go to battle phase, deal 1200, 2200, 2600, a little under lethal, and then remind us that they have it. Okay, well, let's try again. Wow, that was embarrassing. Okay, well, for game 2, our grip looks pretty good, though notably still contains a soul. That's 4 for 4 for those of you following along at home. Our opponent's is good as well. Let's see if we can survive it. We're going to lead with a copy of Domain, getting a Serziel to hand, and even though I already have Gergon, I probably need the protection from Selene. We'll pass it back to my opponent after setting 2. They'll activate Orcust Return and then reinforcement of the army for, Dark Greffer. They'll activate Dark Greffer's effect and then Harpor's Grave effect to get a copy of Nightmare to their side of the field and a Galate. Ooh, that is terrible Selene placement. Who put that Serziel there? They're going to activate Orcust Nightmare before Xyz summoning a Dingirsu and sending my Serziel to the graveyard, but I'll get an Xyz material off of Dingirsu, so who really came ahead in that exchange? They'll get in directly for 2600 and then a Symbol Skeleton to Galati for 18. Afterwards, in main phase 2, they'll go into Topologic Zerovoros. Well, I can't let that happen, so I'll special a Unchained Soul from my hand. Our opponent will activate Gizmek to get something at a link point, and I'll have to escape in response. So we've lost our entire board, and they have a Gizmek. We'll activate the Grave effect of Selene. They'll DD Crow the Selene, and I think that's the end of the match. They're going to draw for turn. They will activate the effect of Orcust Babel. Why does this thing float before activating Orcust Nightmare, Harpor to go into a Symbol Skeleton, normal summon an Armageddon Knight? I'll reveal that my set card is nothing so we can get out of this just a little bit faster, and they'll attack directly for lethal. So we're back with the deck, and... have you ever taken a couple of games off of Rogue, felt invincible, and then lost so badly versus meta that you considered transitioning to future card buddy fight? Just asking for a friend. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. They really do complement each other very well. Despite the obvious synergies, Unchained gives the usually win the die roll or die strategy of Evil Eye something to do going second. 2. Its plays aren't high investment. One domain represents the entirety of the Evil Eye engine, and any Babby Unchained plus a spell represents all of theirs. The rest of your hand can easily be gas. And 3, they do things that other decks don't. Usually when you're playing Rogue, it feels as if you're playing a bad version of an existing meta deck, but linking with your opponent's monster is something only this deck can do, and the payoffs are immense. And the cons. 1, they're bricky. Yes, you don't need many cards to pop off, but it turns out Lil Unchained plus Spell isn't exactly guaranteed. 2, they're telegraphed. If you're going into Rage plus Sares, everything you've got is on board. Answers are infinitely more effective if your opponent isn't able to play around them. And 3, the deck's got a crippling weakness to Phantasme. Any line that includes Rage has something like a 30% chance of shutting off Sares and blanking your Rage's removal. All in all, it's a neat deck, and it's likely the best option for playing with these two archetypes, but it isn't going to next level the metagame anytime soon. So that's that. Thanks to my patrons, Tyler Slacks, Crispy, Sir Tachyon, Mika Reichman, Distrin, Picnic Blasted, Lucas Geardis, Adam Trevino, 2nd, Lieutenant Labcoat, Fighting Fangwong, Meatmoto27, Burrito Man 93, Adrian Bra, Adam Sundquist, Isaac Jackson, Donnie Fillerup, and others. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the deck building process, consider following me on Twitch as well. I'll see you next time.